as we're going to see a established program taking on a brand new one, as the Utah Stingers, the first ever opponent of the brand new Colorado Kraken. I'm Ira Thor, joined alongside two-time All-American Matt Prosser, and Utah comes in a very experienced team. They were the champions 2 years ago, of course, lost in the semifinals in 2021. Colorado, the only other program that's out of the mountains and doesn't have a lot of experience in terms of the NVA. J.J. Rosa, their starting libero, certainly has that leadership quality that they need, but a lot of Utah's roster is back, and it's going to be trouble potentially today for Colorado.
Well, it's great to see some new blood into the NVA with the Colorado Kraken joining the league in the offseason, one of two new teams that we have. But yeah, you're right, a bit of a big question mark, Ira, as far as what the personnel that they have can do on the court. And yeah, they are playing a very established, experienced team in the Utah Stingers, with the likes of Russell Holmes making his sort of reincarnation, if you will, back to the NVA after taking a year off.
He's retired.
He's out of retirement, still alive, just fine. Not so much a reincarnation, but also Sean Dennis, one of the larger middle blockers, tallest middle blockers we have in the NBA, coming over from the Ramblers this offseason as well.
Well, in our first match today, we saw our other brand new franchise, the Seattle Sasquatch. A lot of questions certainly coming into that match, and what we learned is Seattle came out with a fight against a very experienced franchise of their own, the defending champion Stunners. So Colorado can absolutely look at what Seattle did in that first match today and kind of take some motivation from it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good motivational factor for the Kraken to see another brand new team come in, play the returning champions from last season, lose the first two sets, but then win set number 3 and really put up a good fight in set number 4. So I know the Kraken will be, expecting to do something similar. However, they've got their hands full with this team from Utah.
Let's take a look at the players on the court. First, for the Stingers, it'll be Chandler Ba, the libero. He's number 0. In the middle will be number 2, Jiao Giron. Storm Fatunga, I'm going to get that name right one of these years. Might be 2023 before we do. Number 8 is one of the outsides. He'll be joined on the outside by Nova Romero, number 15. Sean Dennis, as you mentioned, the 6'11" product, played for Las Vegas a year ago, wears number 14. And the ball in the hands today will be Reed Chilton, wearing number 13, the setter for the Stingers. For the Kraken, their first ever match in the NVA, as they are coached by experienced former Dallas head coach Jonathan Dacklison, and his squad will send out Colin McAtee, number 1, on the outside. He'll be joined on the outside by Justin Hertline, number 15. And the other pin is number 5, Liam Jenkinson. Dylan Haskell, number 11, is one of your middles. Kyle Schwetz, number 24, the other middle. And Michael Harris will be doing the setting, number 18. And as we mentioned, Juan Rosa, J.J. Rosa, who is the libero, the experienced Puerto Rican defensive player, certainly going to be somebody to watch, number 23. Fresh haircut he's got today out there for the first-year Kraken. So what you say, Matt? Let's get Kraken and get this match underway. Live here from San Bernardino. It is hot out here,
You got it done before the first point of the match, Ira. That's definitely under. I took the over, so I'm already in the hole here. Just getting some last kind of clarification things taken care of here on the officials table with the computer and everything. But yeah, going to be exciting to see lots of good things happening here, and quite a few unknown things to see what happens as well.
I like the fresh new uniforms for Utah, of course, a little darker shade of blue from a year ago. Kraken, obviously the first chance we've had a chance to look at their color scheme. Certainly some vibrant unis out there on the court, and the first serve in the history of the Kraken will be coming here in a moment from Michael Harris out of Kansas City, Missouri. Ira Thorpe, Matt Prosser with you here. San Bernardino, California is the site. It was 103 degrees yesterday. It'll be almost as hot today. That is not typical April weather here in Southern California, in the valley at all, or quite frankly anywhere. It's dry heat, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
no humidity out here.
50 degrees and raining when I left the East Coast.
Inland Empire, it's a dry heat.
Yeah, dry heat in July. This is a bit much.
A little above the ordinary temperature range here for April, like you said. But welcome to Southern California, Ira.
Yeah, I'm glad I packed a pair of shorts. Went to the Angels game last night, opening day. That was something that I think I've never seen an Angels game, never seen an opening day game. Let's chalk a couple things off the list, and it was not a comfortable day to watch the other America's pastime. But here we are, the Kraken, the Stingers, again, the two teams out of the Mountain Time Zone, and the first serve of the match underway. And from the back row, it's Romero. Storm there for the day. They go back to Storm, and he misses wide. And of course, it's important to note this year, and if you watched our first match today, you saw the implementation of the review system. Not something that we had at our disposal a year ago, but the replay system, there's 5 things you can challenge. We'll see if that comes into play as this match goes on today. That's going to trickle over. They go right side, and it's tipped over by Utah. And Colorado playing well defensively, but couldn't get the tip.
Well, already, Ira, I'm seeing some very disciplined volleyball from the team in red on what is the left side of your screen watching at home. Good defense, good communication throughout that rally. Not able to get that last ball over, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Here's Reed Chilton to serve. Defended there by Romero. Storm swinging away. And this one will carry off the court for the kill.
We said Storm's name a lot last season. He was a huge role player, big contributor. Something to take note of here for the Stingers. They do have a new setter running the offense this season, Reed Chilton, replacing Leo Durkin, who retired in the offseason. So excited to see what Reed does running the offense in this match here.
That is covered by Chilton. Chandler Ball, the libero, in the second touch. And this will be a free ball opportunity here for Utah. The tip down the line, they get the touch. Utah says they did. Colorado says no. And perhaps we're going to see our first challenge of the match, and we will. As you see the green challenge flag come out.
Well, they were going to challenge it. However, the linesman on the far side of the court did in fact call a touch with his flag. So therefore saving the challenge and giving the point to the Stingers.
So that's Tony Chan, the line judge on this side. Matt was able to see that line judge was able to help out to avoid the challenge being used. I kind of was waiting for the challenge system, quite frankly, as that is powered down the line. Justin Hertline out of Castro Valley, California, the first kill in Colorado history. That'll be a future trivia question. Hertline will now serve away. Ball with the pass. Here's Storm from the right side, and he misses wide.
Storm putting some good heat behind that one, but missing it through the angle. A bit of a slow start for Storm. I believe that's his 5th swing already in the match.
He was very busy last year. Became one of their top options as Jake Langlois was not able to be a full-time player, and that's obviously one of the biggest moves in the offseason, as Jake Langlois will now be playing for the absolutely loaded Texas Tyrants.
Yeah, we'll see them later today. I'm very excited to see what they can put out on the court.
You mentioned Leo Durkin, their setter, has retired from active play, at least for the moment. You know, it's like the WWE. You never know when they're going to come back out of retirement. And Kai Duquem, starting libero for much of last year, is now playing for Chicago. I actually get a chance to work with Kai quite a bit. He's actually one of the assistant coaches on the women's volleyball team in New Jersey at the college that I work for, New Jersey City University. And Storm unloads the ace.
Well, this is the weapons that Storm can bring to the match for the Stingers, right? Well-rounded. We saw him attack out of the back row to start the match. Obviously, from the front row, we always know he's a weapon on the right side and the left side. And that was jump serve from the inline, scoring points for the Stingers.
So a 6-3 lead for Utah. Rosa with a good pass, and that allows Colorado to run the offense, as that is put away by Jenkinson.
Jenkinson, the 6'5" opposite hitter, left-handed southpaw, so brings a different dynamic to the offense there for the Kraken.
And Colorado has a roster that is not just domestic, that is into the net. Jenkinson is from Darlington, England. Of course, J.J. Rosa, who we prominently featured in our opens out of San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico, and players on the roster from Uruguay and as far away as Buenos Aires, Argentina. As one of our more international teams. And looking at his options before dumping it over, there was Jorge Mencia. And this is going to carry him into the ceiling and out of play. Point for Colorado.
Two teams still trying to kind of figure each other out, I think, Ira, so far. I know it's early action here in set number one, but you can tell the Stingers still trying to kind of figure out what the Kraken are going to do, and then vice versa as well. So block and defense not quite on point for both sides.
Dennis, first chance. He's had a chance to swing away today and gets the touch for the side out for Utah. And, you know, Dennis, 6'11". He was the second tallest player in the league a year ago. And, you know, certainly a player that if they use him becomes a matchup problem. The question is, how do they get him the ball more?
Well, yeah, you've got to be able to utilize the 6'11" middle attacker if the pass is up to the top of the tape.
Big swing, ball was there for the defense, and a rejection for Colorado. Kyle Schwetz, the Carroll Stream, Illinois native, leading that double block.
Yeah, technically a very sound block that time by the two wing blockers for the Kraken. Shoulder to shoulder, Novo Romero had nowhere to go on that one. Tried to sneak it past the angle and just didn't get it.
Here is Colin McAtee out of Denver, Colorado. Dennis delivers.
Good connection being established there between Dennis and Chilton. Again, another perfect pass. Feed the big man, let him eat. 6'11" middle blocker, getting his kills.
So here is Novo Romero, the Cuban. Off the tape, and that's going to fall in for the ace. Rosa got handcuffed, and the second ace here in set number one for the Stingers.
And a fortunate bounce that time off the equipment for Romero's jump serve, catching J.J. Rosa just a little up high.
Of course, our first match today was between the Stunners and the Sasquatch out of the National Coastal Division. This is the American Central matchup. And as that one is too long. One of the big changes this year is the first and the final regular season weekends of the year will only be divisional. It will not be a crossover. So the Stingers, the Kraken, and the Freedom are the three teams that compete in the American Central. As that will fall off the tape monster and in for another ace.
DeNovo's second service ace of this run so far.
And that has pushed the Utah lead to 12-6. And of course, last year teams would play all 3 days. Now, you play 2 of the 3. Freedom are not playing today, so they will, of course, compete Saturday and Sunday. And sticking that through for the kill was Romero, helping his own cause as he'll continue to serve.
I really like what we're seeing offensively speaking from the Stingers. They haven't relied a whole lot on their overhead right side offense. They're using more of the offense through the middle, establishing the BIC, quick attack from the back row, and then also the middle blocker attacking in the front row.
As that one is too long. Of course, that BIC that you mentioned, certainly a weapon at this level. With blocking such a huge element of professional men's volleyball. Kind of that X factor to try to solve that riddle of a blocking wall that might be 6'6", 6'7", 6'11" at times.
Right. Well, the importance is obviously the pass. Okay, that's going to predicate what kind of offense you can run in certain situations. In system, you want to have, a minimum of 3 attackers at all times, sometimes 4, especially now with that back row quick. Funneling the offense through the middle, whether it's front row or back row, it still takes away the opponent's middle blocker from moving side to side.
Here's Sean Dennis to serve, his team up 14-7. And he kept alive there by Romero. Colorado off the block, it falls in for the kill. And that will send Michael Harris, the setter, back to serve. Storm swinging away, and he gets the result, dropping it in front of J.J. Rosas. Storm with another kill. And get another look at Reed Chilton. With the left hand, as that set was pushed outside the antenna, Jenkinson able to bring it back for the result. So a side out, they'll hand it off to Hurtline.
Good vision that time from Jenkinson, seeing the block and the open court. Storm tapping himself on the chest, saying, I know I should have gotten that ball, you guys. I'll get the next one.
Here's Storm from the right side, tooling the block for the side out and the kill. 16-9 is the score. That takes us to our first technical timeout here in game number 1 with Utah leading convincingly. Reed Chilton, somebody we will certainly talk more about as this match goes on, and when we come back he'll continue to serve, but we're going to send it to the sideline, and Noah is going to bring us our first sideline report of the season.
Absolutely, thank you guys. And yeah, I spoke with the Kraken. Being a new team, they said one thing they want to work on is in-game adjustments. And you see they got caught in kind of a service run there. That's something that they're going to look to continue to improve. But Coach John Dackinson says he's impressed with his front row and wants to see them get more involved. And on the Stinger side, they want to take care of what they can, being a more experienced team against that newer team. And they want to explore and expand offensively, really have 4 options on the floor at all time, and kind of distribute the wealth on that offensive side of the ball.
Thank you, Noah. That's Noah Chast, our new sideline reporter, newest member of our broadcast team, alongside myself, Ira Thor, Matt Prosser, and of course, our king, Nick England, who we will see out on the court, also unretiring, as his Las Vegas Ramblers play later today. I have that appearance circled on my calendar.
As we all should.
Here's Storm to serve. Rosa with the great pass that allows them to set up the back row BIC, but Utah was waiting for it, and a useful spot as Romero drops in the kill.
Noble Romero showing his range, picked up that shot while he played professionally over in Saudi Arabia in the offseason, so nice range there, but that was all set up from the jump serve here from Storm.
He's playing in Saudi Arabia, and this 102-degree heat here in the Inland Empire, it doesn't even faze him.
He's totally used to it now, Ira, that's for sure.
Maybe he's the one who brought the heat with him. Take another look here at Dylan Haskell, 6'7" middle out of Hope International University, Oxnard, California native. one-handed set. Romero with the attack. Free ball chance here. They go back to Romero. And a dig kill for the Kraken.
Wow, what a dig, resulting in a point for Colorado. Romero unleashed on that ball. Dylan Haskell just able to just stand there and take it. Sorry, that was Colin McAtee that got it.
McAtee sometimes, all you gotta do is get a touch, and that was enough to extend the play and get a point out of it. But the service error sends it back to Utah, 18-11. Here is Duran. Dig by Chilton off the McAtee swing. And that is wide.
Well, that shows the importance right there, Ira, of how important it is to cover your hitter. Okay, Reed Chilton doing a great job covering his hitter, extends the rally, able to get his team another swing in transition that results in a point.
Especially against some of these well-disguised roll shots over the block. You have to have somebody covering every play. Storm there for the touch. And the triple block, that's blocked back. Second chance here to run the offense, and sticking it through for the kill is Jorge Mencia, the 6'6" Puerto Rican.
Veteran Puerto Rican. We saw him play a lot of opposite last year for the Stingers. He's been around the world, multiple professional leagues. We're glad he's back for another season. Plays down in Puerto Rico, his hometown, Guaynabo, during their professional season, and that's his first kill of the match from the right side.
Kraken have made a substitution. They bring in number 7, Trenton Lance, 6'5", product of Springfield, Missouri, replacing McAtee. And swinging away, yet again, it's Romero.
A real big swing in transition, but give credit to Storm for that diving one-handed dig that he was able to get up into the air and give his team a chance to swing in transition for that point.
21-11, Utah with a substantial Game 1 lead here. And here is Joel Duran to serve. Roll shot, and Duran able to get a touch. And tooling the high hands there one more time. No, Romero is just eating up this Kraken defense.
Stingers are playing very solid, very consistent, even-keeled volleyball. Kind of what we have come to expect to see from this team. So experienced, so well coached, organized. Meanwhile, for the Kraken, they got to pass the ball a little bit better, try to get back into their offensive system, try to earn a side out here.
And getting the kill is Jenkinson. So side out for the Kraken.
Good running set against the flow that time, keeping the blockers of the Stingers on their toes.
There's Romero on the pass. Then go to Dennis, dropping bombs.
Sean Dennis again just delivering on the wrist away. 31 set this time from Chilton to Dennis. I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot so far, Ira.
And I like the way that they're getting Dennis involved early, and that certainly is taking a lot of pressure off of their pins because they can't ignore Dennis's presence.
Definitely not the 6'11" middle attacker. It's going to be tough to slow down if you're the middle blocker on the Kraken.
That is ace number 4 here in the opening set, and that gives Utah a set point. And leaving it short is Mencia. So set point number 2. Lance will serve for the first time in the NVA. Good pass by The libero Chandler Boss sets it up, and it's finished off on a kill from a Novo Romero. And the Utah Stingers certainly putting a sting into the Kraken's debut.
Well, credit to the Stingers here. That's a great first set match. First match of the season, dominant fashion, getting out of the gates fast, utilizing all of your hitters, establishing the quick attack, but also with the Bic behind it, really causing a lot of problems for the Kraken block and defense. A little bit of, not too sure what to do because they hadn't seen the Stingers' offense yet, but behind Storm, Novo Romero, Sean Dennis, you got three really good hitters right there. They hit a good percentage for that set. Meanwhile, Jorge Mencia still contributing, and Reed Chilton running a very good offense.
I thought Utah did a nice job of spreading out the wealth, and something that Noah talked about in his sideline report is just the importance of getting everybody involved for Utah. Is the Stingers certainly showcasing why they're probably the favorite in the division, at least at the start of the year. Freedom is a team that we don't really know what to make of. We haven't seen much of them. They are, a team that's kind of reinvented themselves, I think is the best way to say, is they have sort of merged with Chicago. Chicago has absorbed some of the former Freedom players. Some of the current Freedom players are former Chicago players. As we get a chance to take a look at our first set stats, and it was heavily leaning Utah's way. 56% hitting percentage as a team, and Romero, and he's at the base of that with 6 kills and 11 swings. But you look at, they've spread it out. 3 kills for Storm, 2 for Mencia, and Sean Dennis, perfect right now. 3 out of 3, exactly what you want to see out of your big guy.
Yeah, and you throw in a couple of service aces from the inline from Romero and Storm, and really Kraken had no answers on how to slow down the Stingers. So a bit of what I expected to see from the Stingers. Again, one of the well-established clubs here in the NVA, and the Kraken, this is their first go-around. We saw some good things, some promise. Coach is having a good conversation, and we'll see what they have in set number 2 here.
Well, to get us set up for set number 2, we're going to send it to our sideline guy, Noah Chast, for another report.
You guys.
The teams change sides, and looks like Utah will keep its consistent lineup.
1, 2, 3, mic check. What happened?
What's interesting is that a lot of these teams still do not have their full rosters, right? Some guys are still playing overseas, and we saw that. A great example was Matt Hilling. Barely got here in time for the OC Stunners, as he flew in from Israel earlier this week just to make his NVA debut for the season. Again, a lot of these players are still playing internationally, as there was a bit of an overlap between the NVA season and the international season. You see it in the sport of soccer, of course.
Of course.
You have players who play in other countries and come
it's
back and try to get involved with the American team, and there's an overlap.
Some of that adversity that you have to deal with as a professional club team, and players sign contracts overseas, and they'll come back. And Matt Hilling is a good example. Flew home from Israel on Tuesday. He's playing here in San Bernardino on Friday.
And we have our first block, although I think it's going to be officially a carry here on the Kraken. And so that'll send back Chandler to serve Reed, not Chandler, Chilton, I should say. Reed Chilton is out of Centerville, Ohio. He played for BYU, and a standout career for the Cougars. Free ball opportunity for Utah. They'll go to Storm roll shot, but waiting right for that with Jenkinson. Storm a second time. Rosa is there. Another tip from the back row. 4th chance for Utah. That's blocked back, but Romero covers it. And the tip is wide by Haskell.
What a foot dig from the Cuban. Inoval Romero playing a little soccer over there. Nice pickup, giving his team a chance to continue. And yeah, the tip just going out of bounds from the Kraken side.
25-13 was our final score in game number 1. Utah out to a quick lead here in set 2. Reach out and stuff someone. Solo block for Utah. Jorge Mencia closing it out.
Mency, as he's known by his teammates, by himself over there with the solo stuff down, like you said. Ira, nice to see Mencia getting on the board there with his first block of the match.
So 3-0 lead. That one too long by Chilton. And we'll see a new player here for Colorado in Amori Miranda, setter at a Naranjito, Puerto Rico. Number 9. That is blocked back. Utah able to collect it off the net and send it over. Rosa with a textbook pass. A bigger dig there by Chilton. Chance here for Colorado on a free ball. Can they capitalize? No, great defense again by Baugh. And Utah seems to be, it's almost as if, so much for my thought is put away by Jenkinson, but it looks like Utah have been somehow scouting Colorado. Just no film, of course, because they've never played a match before, but Utah has been everywhere on the floor, not letting any balls drop in.
Well, the libero for Utah in the white jersey wearing number 0, Tyler Baugh, we saw him really play some spectacular defense last season. You know, he runs a good defensive system back there for his team, so I do expect the Stingers to be really strong on the block and defense side, and we just saw it right there.
I think it's fair to say the Ball's underrated. Obviously, he didn't get a lot of the libero headlines last year. We mentioned, of course, that Ty DeQuim was for much of the year in that starting libero spot, but Ball, certainly the Chandler, Gilbert, Arizona native, comes in and just plays a steady style of defense. Utah needs that this year as they have lost some height. Of course, they also gained some height with Sean Dennis.
Give and take, Ira.
That one is tipped wide. So Storm will serve with his team leading 5-2. Chilton, little tight to the net. And not anything you could do there. You see the high five there between Jorge Mencia and our chair umpire, Patrick Bradley. And that's just a bad set by Utah that allows Colorado to side out.
Followed up by a service error, unfortunately, for Kraken. Can't capitalize on that free point that they got from the play before.
And finding the touch for the winner is Jenkinson.
Jenkinson, the left-handed opposite we were talking about earlier on. Notice the Stinger defense kind of shifting towards the hitter instead of away into the angle. So as a lefty, I want to play a little bit wider on defense and wait for him to see and prove that he can hit the line.
Off the tape, chance here for Utah. Down the line with authority is Mencia. And I think Colorado, for a question, was challenging whether that was in or out. We had a substitution a moment ago. The libero out on the court for one touch was Ricardo Alejandro, number 22, but J.J. Rosas back in. Here's Jorge Mencia. Too long.
Well, Mencia is still sort of, getting started. He hasn't had to take too many attacks through this match, so from the end line, still trying to find his range and kind of that arm speed. It's challenging when you're not in an offensive system, really with your own swing throughout a match, to then go to the end line and try to hit your serve hard. A little bit of a challenge.
Big time swing, Romero again connecting. He has certainly been the focus offensively. Storm has had his looks, but Romero right now is finding a nice groove, Matt.
Yeah, showing some good consistency is Romero from the left side. Finished off set number 1 nicely, and they're getting his first attack in set number 2.
So already 4 aces for Utah. And Romero is going to have to be run down by Miranda, the setter. Storm, and that's going to be multiple touches. Storm will get the kill there as it handcuffed Jenkinson on the back corner. And something I always admired about Storm's offense. Yeah, he could swing away, but he's able to disguise his arm angles so well, and that makes it difficult to read, certainly for the defense.
Very much so, Ira. He's got a very quick and lively arm, right? But then he can establish the power, but then go right back to a little bit of a disguised roll shot like he did on that previous play.
And right now, the serving of Anuel Romero is frustrating Colorado. Yes, it's not going in the stat column as an ace, but it's forcing them to play out-of-system volleyball. The importance of serving tough here professionally cannot be understated. That is blocked back. Rosa able to run it down. And waiting for that one was Mencia. That is blocked back. Double stuff for the Kraken. It's Schwetz and Trenton Lance.
Oh, that's what the Kraken needed, is to get something going on block and defense. Nice 2-man block that time against Mencia.
So here's Lance. Storm able to do something with it, and the first time they've been able to dig up Dennis. Chilton runs that one down, going towards the seats, but the roll shot is short.
Well, that all started from the serve pressure from Trenton Lance, going hard down the line that time at Storm. Got the Stingers out of system and advantage over to the Kraken side.
Help from Romero, and then another double block one more time. It's Schwetz involved, and give a block assist to Miranda.
Again, service pressure resulting in a nicely formed block by the Kraken side. That time, Romero had to step in and set because the pass wasn't in system for the Stingers.
Kraken hanging tough, down by 2. And now 1 as an ace, the first ever for the Kraken, and it's Trenton Lance.
Tough rotation for the Stingers. If they can't get a good pass, they can't run quick. And also taking their front row setter out of the equation. So, bit of a challenge here as the Stingers call timeout.
And Utah will talk this one over. This is also our technical timeout as it occurred before the 16-point mark here in game number 2. Again, we're live here at the Pure Sports Center in San Bernardino, California. I'm Ira Thor. He's 2-time All-American Matt Prosser, member of the Long Beach State Volleyball Hall of Fame. I did not know that until I was poking around on the Long Beach State website, looking at who the Hall of Famers were, and whose name did I see? But yours. Long Beach State, number 2 in the country right now in men's volleyball. If you're watching Division I men's volleyball in the country this year, as the national poll is sponsored by the NVA, of course, it's a battle for that top spot between Penn State, Long Beach State, UCLA. Hawaii's been in the conversation. A lot of great volleyball being played around the country collegiately. And you get to see it every day because you're one of the broadcasters for Long Beach State.
Well, there's some good talent in the NCAA this season as well. It's going to be a battle for the rest of the season, as it usually is. Conference schedule's kind of winding down in the next 2 weeks, and then obviously the playoff push to get into that tournament that's at UCLA this year.
Oh, I'm still sticking with my preseason prediction that it's going to be Penn State's championship this year. Maybe a little East Coast bias for me, but they are absolutely loaded as a 10-foot line violation on Jenkinson.
We'll definitely mark that one up as an East Coast bias.
Penn State is good. They have everybody back from a year ago.
That may be true, but...
And they've already beaten Long Beach State this year. I know Long Beach didn't have all of its weapons that day, but a W is a W. Down the line, finding the spot is Hurtline.
I support the Penn State prediction.
Noah Chast, our sideline reporter, also endorses my Penn State prediction. He's a Pennsylvania native, so I expected him to take my side in the argument. Are you a Penn State graduate? Oh, I should have asked.
He was wearing, loud and proud, that Nittany Lion t-shirt this morning before our polo shirts arrived, so.
I did not see the Nittany Lion gear.
Well, since no one's asking me who I'm, going to pick
Matt,
for the
who do you
Final
think is
Four,
going to
I'm
win the
say
title this year?
It will be a Long Beach State-Penn State matchup for an NCAA championship. Long Beach State getting double redemption against Penn State from the loss earlier in the season, and then winning another national championship in Pauley Pavilion.
There is no redemption. There is a solo stuff Jorge Mencia closing out the pin, like Matt Prosser did in the late 90s.
And 2000 and 2001. Just so I'm not that old, but thank you, Ira.
I mean, I am the oldest member of our crew
by a long way.
Not a long way. I mean, you and I, it's the Matt and Ira age group, and then you have the Nick and Noah age group. And Nick's now a married man, so he's now in the veteran group. From the back row, Lance swinging away. And a free ball opportunity, but Colorado could not capitalize. Mencia with the tip. Colorado doing a nice job collecting off the net by Haskell, but they cannot keep it on the court.
Two huge digs by Chandler Baugh that time. The second one, nobody up, a one-handed scoop from the libero, giving his side a chance to get the point, and the hitting error from the Kraken.
5-point lead now for Utah, as they cannot keep it on the court. And don't sleep on Ball State, by the way. We're talking about teams to look out for in collegiate volleyball. Ball State is red hot right now.
Yeah, that all comes down to who's playing the best at the end of the season, and it'll be a very, very exciting playoff run for the men's volleyball championship.
Off the court, Storm able to chase it down, and that is blocked back. They go back to Storm, and Lance gets the touch. Third chance here for the Stingers, and a useful spot as Jorge Mencia lands the kill.
So the defense from both sides really picking up as this match progresses. Stingers just continuing to dig the ball and get opportunities in transition.
16-11, that's your score as Storm serves away. Rosa, great pass after the ball clips off the tape. And that cross-court smash. Justin Hurtline doing his job there to get a side out for his squad. Watching the Colorado Kraken, their first ever match, one of our two expansion teams here in the NVA, along with the Seattle Sasquatch. And that set was off the mark, so a setting error for the Stingers. In all due respect there to Reed Chilton, that serve receive did carry into the net, so not an easy ball to work with.
Yeah, Reed Chilton currently a back row sitter as well, so really limiting his offense options.
Looking away, and you looked at Trenton Lands, look up at the court, and find that spot wide open. Mid-swing kind of changed what he was planning to do.
Yeah, good vision right there from Trenton, being able to see where the block was and hit around it and find the floor for the point.
You know, vision's kind of one of those words that at times maybe gets overused in sports, but you hit the nail on the head right there. That is true vision right there, where you can hang in the air and kind of change what your initial approach was based on what you're able to see.
Absolutely, Ira. I mean, it's so important, you know, to have that good court vision, that awareness of where the block is and what the defenders are doing, and then expose it with where you hit the ball.
3-point lead for Utah. Dennis gets his first hands on a ball this year.
Sean Dennis, the 6'11" middle blocker, played his college volleyball at UC Irvine. Kraken running their offense just straight at him. Sean able to stop that one.
It's a huge pickup for the Stingers this year. He was a big part of that Rambler run as that's put away by Jenkinson, but a big part of that Rambler run. I actually thought Las Vegas last year was probably the favorite to win the NVA title based on how they were playing at the end of the year. But, you know, you talked about it, about teams putting it together, and OC certainly did with a great final weekend run to win the whole thing and hoist the trophy at the end of the 2021 season. It was 8 months ago already, and I'm happy to be back here in California to start all over again for another year. It's the third, I believe, for the NVA.
Yeah.
My second with you guys.
Just some clarification here on substitutions, so we'll get that figured out. But you're right, it was a great final last year between the Ramblers and the Stunners. Both teams a little thin this weekend, as Brandon Rattray won't be here. He's still finishing up his season in Germany for the Ramblers. He was a huge impact player last year for that club. So Ramblers are going to be piecing together some unique lineups today, but we go back to action here at this match now.
And I think most teams are going to be kind of in that category of a cross between regular players and some of their reserves. As Dennis missed it wide. You know, for Utah, they probably have one of your more complete rosters here today.
Yeah, it certainly looks as if they do have pretty much a full roster, even with Russell Holmes kind of watching from the sideline there.
And down
Stingers
the
are
line, there's
established.
the answer from Mencia. I want to see Holmes out on the court, though. I mean, Russ, and I joked with him earlier that he's the Tom Brady of the NVA. He retired, he's come back, and it'd be really interesting to hear from his perspective, you know, why he decided, you know, to make one last run at it. He doesn't need to continue playing. He certainly can, because, you know, the former Olympian, part of the U.S. team in 2012 to finish 5th in London. You know, I think he was 2nd in the Olympic Games that year in blocks, and a decade later, he can still play at the highest level. So, personally, I'm excited to see him out there. But, you know, he could very well just sit there and own the team and be a part of the growth of the NVA. So, for him to even continue to play this game is a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Russell has been fortunate enough to play volleyball around the globe at the highest levels. We're very fortunate to have him involved here with the NVA. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play as well, as I've had a front row seat to a lot of his career, even back when he was playing club volleyball here in Southern California. So hopefully in the next match he'll get back out there on the court.
They might need him now, quite frankly, because Utah is beginning to make some mistakes here, and it's allowed Colorado to hang around, and we are now all square at 19 apiece, as that one is wide by Romero. We saw Seattle take a set, as that is put away by Sean Dennis, his 4th kill. We saw Seattle take a set from the defending champion Stunners in their debut, and quite frankly, we're a point away from the 5th set, losing 26-24 in the 4th. And Colorado certainly looking to make a strong impression here, as here is Ignacio Matias, number 68, out of Club Italiano in Buenos Aires, Argentina, out in the court for Colorado, and he's immediately tested. Trenton Lance swinging away, and that's going to not be able to save the live. Romero got the touch on it, and Mencia tried to run it down, but we are all square again. 20 all here in game number 2.
Yeah, credit to the Kraken. They've really turned it up, applied some pressure on the Stingers. Specifically this man here. Trenton Lance serving now.
Storm gets the result.
Well, for anyone watching this match or whoever's going to be scouting the Stingers, let me let you in on a little piece of advice, Ira. Don't serve Chandler Baugh, the libero, for the Stingers, because he is their best passer. There's a reason he's wearing the white jersey, the libero jersey. Don't serve him.
I can't argue with that at all.
I got for you.
I mean, same reason last year we're watching teams serve Kyle D'Agostino. Why in the world would you serve Kyle D'Agostino?
That's a good counterpoint. I don't know why you would, but so don't do it.
Teams would do it and it end up costing them. I mean, if it's me right now, I'm targeting, well, I'm probably targeting Romero. He's probably been the least consistent of the passes, and as I say that, he drops in a dime. But a back row attack violation on Utah, and Colorado has its first lead late in a set in their history at 22-21. Again, they serve Romero. Storm able to chase it down and sent over. Free ball opportunity for the Kraken. That clips off the rafters. Good job staying with that by Chilton. Free ball chance here for Utah. Looking to tie. And Lance saw that one coming. They go back to Storm. Cross-court magic.
We'll get our first challenge here from the Kraken on that.
Yeah, the Kraken are saying
call.
that was out. Our line official, Tony Chen, called it in. Patrick Bradley is our R1 today, and Dennis Franciscini is our referee 2. He will be the one looking at the review.
Yeah, pretty tough to get one past Tony Chen here, one of the best in the business. Been around for a long time.
Can't forget our alternate line judge on the right side of the court in Magna Gleaves. Make sure they all get their 8 seconds of fame.
I do like this challenge from the Kraken. It's at the point of the match where use the challenge, don't waste a timeout. Could be a good point swing if it is in fact overturned. But you know, a little bit of a momentum break as well without using one of your timeouts still.
And obviously, you know, they have multiple timeouts still to use here on the set if they need it, but as the season goes along, you could even see the challenge system being used as an additional timeout. It would be fair gamesmanship if that was indeed the case. And it looks like the court call has been upheld, and it will be side out here for Utah. And that's left short.
So really what that challenge does was ice the server of the Stingers. So good play there from the coach. We'll give him credit for that point.
Of course, you have 3 challenges that you can use at any point through the first 4 sets. Use it or lose it. In the 5th set, each team will have just 1 challenge available. I believe if you get it right, you get another. I believe is the way the rule is structured. That's blocked back for Colorado. Lance covering it. They go down the line. Ball able to collect that swing off of Jenkinson. Trent Lance with a power tip. Storm from the right side. Lance, he has been probably the most consistent player on the court for Colorado. Baugh somehow gets a paw, and this is sent over. Storm with hands. Baugh again A little bit too far outside. Mencia just has to dump. Trent lands again, and one more time we see the defensive ball. Romero able to extend the play. Longest rally of the match so far, Matt. Blocked back and off of the block for the tool right into our broadcast vicinity. I have a souvenir. Utah will call a timeout as Colorado has 2 set points, leading 24-22.
What a rally, Ira, back and forth. Chandler Baugh diving for the ball. Nothing is out of reach for him, but however, Stinger's just not able to get a good solid attack in transition. He's giving free ball after free ball to the Kraken, and finally they're able to score that real point there.
So a bit of a surprise here for Colorado after really not being competitive in that first set, losing 25-13. Well, they've learned a lot from their first set loss and have come back here. Maybe Utah hasn't come out with the same fire.
Well, they just in the middle of that set there got stuck in one bad rotation, couldn't pass the ball to keep them in system. Kraken went on that nice run, and they've been applying pressure ever since.
So set point, Colorado, it's Miranda serving. And that's one set point avoided. Storm will serve. He will try to stave off game point again. Storm already has 1 ace so far today. And there you have it, the first ever set victory in the history of the Colorado Kraken as they take this second set 25-23, and we are even 1 set apiece. We'll take a break, and we'll come back and get you set up for game number 3. It's now anybody's match here in San Bernardino. Much more to come. We're back here in San Bernardino. Ira Thor, joined by Matt Prosser, Noah Chast, the third member of our crew. And, well, we were talking about Russell Holmes coming out of retirement, and obviously we're excited to see him hopefully out on the court at some point soon. And, well, Noah had an opportunity to talk with Russ and get his own thoughts on why he's back.
Yeah, that's right, Ira. I did speak with Russ, and he told me he's basically here out of necessity. You can hear me now, Ira. I spoke with Russ, and he said he's here out of necessity. Only really 2 middles on this roster outside of himself. And he said he's just here to give those guys a break on their legs where they can get it, as there's a kill there for the Kraken to start off this third set. He told me there's most likely we'll see him Sunday, but you never know the way this match is going if he can hop in before then. But again, he's here for his team if and when needed. Guys?
I appreciate that insight. Well, even a part-time Russell Holmes is a gift for us. And as we begin game number 3, it was an ace for Amori Miranda and his team with the early lead. No lineup changes for Utah. They'll stay with the pieces that got them here. And I don't see any changes out there for Colorado either. Here's Storm tooling the block.
Well, Storm starting off set 3 like he did set number 1, getting that good swing on the left side. He was a little quiet in set 2. Stingers will need him to produce some points here throughout this game.
After Utah in the first game, it dwindled down. Good hands there, Matt. To 31% in game number 2. That ball caroms into our broadcast table, and Matt Prosser showing why he's still the best athlete at press row. Can't say on the court because, you know, we haven't seen you out there in uniform. But I knew back in the day you would be a problem for these guys to deal with. Speaking of problems, a solo block there by Dylan Haskell closing off the window for Jorge Mencia. And Mencia, you could see, was visibly frustrated there.
Kraken doing a great job. Kraken doing a great job blocking defense, slowing down the Stingers' offense.
And putting that one away, Jorge Mencia getting his redemption. And that's what you want to see out of your hitters. You get blocked, short memory, put it in the past and move on. And when you let it linger, that's when you see these long scoring droughts and these, you know, deficiencies that will kill a team's momentum.
You have a bad play, you got to forget about it, move on.
And he's really forgotten about it because he's come out motivated. Mencia with another kill. Mencia, somebody who, when he gets on, is a very difficult right side to close down. And right now, that's his 9th kill. It's likely going to be the first in double figures for either team today. Storm waiting for that attack. Reach out and stuff someone. Double block by Liam Jenkinson and Dylan Haskell as they're able to close off the attack from Romero. And Colorado hanging tough here in game 3 as we are underway. Haskell will serve. Ira Thor, Matt Prosser with you. Don't forget, this is the second of 4 matches today. Again, last year was a 5-match per day lineup. This year it's 4 matches per day. You play 2 out of the 3 days. That way everybody has a chance to be as fresh as possible. You know, these guys are pros. These guys are athletes. Yes, they can play 3 days in a row, but it's a better product when you're not playing on tired legs.
Absolutely. Evens the playing field a little bit, Ira, as you said.
And getting the block there. And the answer is Romero. And Utah finds themselves now with a double lead, 6-3. Our third match today coming up at 3 p.m. out here on the West Coast. 6 p.m. on the East Coast will be Southern Exposure taking on the Las Vegas Ramblers. And then we'll close out the day at 6 p.m. Pacific time with Tyrants and the Blaze.
A great block right there by number 24 in red, Kyle Schwetz. Commit blocking on Sean Dennis that time, getting him the shutdown that they need, and Kraken really putting on some good pressure against the Stingers.
The way the 4 teams we will not see today are the Freedom, the Tornadoes, Untouchables, and the Matadors, who call this facility home, as they will make their season debuts tomorrow. So another side out, ball over to Jenkinson. He's able to see his team tied at 6-6 with 3 points in a row. Utah trying to end the run, but it won't end here. Reach out and stuff someone one more time. It's Lance and Schwetz. And the blocking scheme certainly starting to pay dividends for Colorado.
That's their 3rd block of this set alone. Really, the blocking defense is finding its rhythm. Stingers having a hard time navigating past it.
And that one will trickle off the tape and land on Utah's side as Mencia leaves it short. And look at this, the Kraken have the lead 8-6 as they hand the ball to Jenkinson.
Now Mencia's got to stay behind the ball. He ran under it a little bit that time. Got himself in a bit of a pickle and couldn't get that ball over the net.
And Romero, no expression on his face, able to get the side out. As one of our fans on our YouTube feed said, big dogs got to eat, and Romero's certainly somebody, if you're Utah and you want to be successful, got to keep feeding him.
Got to feed him. Him and Sean Dennis.
Over on 2, sneaky Amori Miranda.
Saw those two exchanging some words between plays, and Amori able to sneak that one past the Noble that time.
And Trenton Lance. Leaves it short, and yeah, you do see a lot of service errors here. And for fans who wonder, well, these are professional volleyball players, why do you see so many service errors? And it's all about having to serve tough, because you cannot, if you just send it to keep it in play, it's going to come right back in your face. You have to serve tough at all times and try to put the other serve receive back on their heels. You see this tough serving there from J.J. Rosa. And he's able to pass it on the dime to allow Colorado to put it away.
You're absolutely correct, Ira. I mean, the service pressure from the inline is such a big part of men's volleyball. There is that fine line. You know, you don't want to miss too many serves, give away too many free points. However, the game you're trying to play is to get your opponent out of system. And if you serve too easily, your opponent is in system all the time. Basically, they're scoring points every single time. Their side-out percentage is really high, and you have a really hard time slowing them down with your blocking defense. So the premium of getting the opponent out of system based on your serve is really what kind of that fine line is that you're trying to walk, right? In, but tough, but not too many service errors.
Obviously, you don't want to have it derail your entire match, of course, but Utah has used their service game well so far, but Colorado, after being a little bit rattled in that first set, have done a pretty good job, especially since Lance came in, of gaining composure, and that has allowed them to now, well, midway through game number 3, they find themselves 11-9 in front.
Well, the setting of Miranda has been great for Kraken, and then a little bit of a firecracker, a spark plug, has been number 68 in red, Ignacio Matias Mora, the Argentinian outside hitter. Okay, he's doing a nice job. And then, yes, Trenton Lance has also contributed nicely as well, but a great service error there from the setter, Miranda, as well.
And they target Romero one more time. It's the second time that he's been aced. But you're right, Miranda came in. He didn't start this match. It was Michael Harris who got the initial nod, the Lindenwood University alumni, but Miranda's come in and done a great job. The Puerto Rican who played at Lourdes University, NAIA program. In the back row, Storm swinging away. J.J. Rosa is just so steady out there at Libero.
And so far right now, the Kraken, they can do no wrong, just putting the Stingers on their heels. It's tough serving here from Miranda, the lefty setter, and then, yeah, J.J. Rosa, some credit to him, playing great defense for the Kraken as well.
And that's going to force Utah to talk it over. As it's a 13-9 lead, the Kraken have themselves a healthy 4-point margin. The Kraken, as they talk things over here, what's been impressive to me is that you came in, Matt, not really kind of knowing what to make of this Kraken squad. Same approach that we had with the Sasquatch in game number 1. They're an unknown commodity. They only had, with the exception of J.J. Rosa, nobody on the roster who is taken the court in an NVA match in the first 2 seasons. So they truly were building from anew. They're making their training home in Aurora, Colorado. Now, it's a very strong area of the country for the sport of volleyball. There's only a natural of an expansion team as we could have had.
You're also seeing the advantage of having a full roster where you can make a couple of changes and bring in some different personnel to change up the look after set number 1.
So Mencia able to get the side out as he's now in double figures in kills here through game 3. I think it's also important to note that they do have a head coach on the sideline today, and Jonathan Dackelson, who of course, as we mentioned in our open, previously coached for the Tornadoes. So he's an experienced coach in this league, and certainly helps maybe Colorado and any nerves that they might have had calm down, and more importantly, as they got wiped out in game number 1, were able to make some key adjustments for set 2. And coaching does matter at this level.
Couldn't agree with you more, Ira. I mean, whatever the head coach over there, Jonathan Dackelson, decided to do, the changes he made is working well. I mean, they won set number 2 and currently up here in set number 3.
Still a 3-point lead for Colorado, trying to pull off what would be a pretty big upset. Blocked back in Utah. That is a double touch and a block there in the middle for the Kraken, and they are just calm out there right now. They're not letting the moment be too big for them, knowing this is their debut. They want to, of course, it's like a first date. You want to have a good first impression. And so far, they've played some beautiful volleyball in the second and third sets.
Yeah, they're playing within themselves. They're playing confidently. You can tell that all their work in their practice gym is paying off. They're not overextending themselves, and they're playing with momentum. So they're providing a good brand of Kraken volleyball at the moment.
Sometimes if you have a bad first date, you want to leave suddenly. You have to escalate and leave the restaurant and leave your date high and dry. And, for Colorado, they didn't get a good first impression in that first set. They went to the bathroom, they powdered their nose, and they've come out here in set 2 and 3, and they've been the better team.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around that whole analogy, Ira, of the first date. Well said. Definitely could not have said it any better myself.
From the back row, ball, some great defense there to keep it alive. Second chance from Colorado. Very tight to the net to joust. And sent deep by Colorado. One more chance, and this time it's finished off. Jorge Mencia. Great rally. to see a substitution here for the Stingers. They're going to bring in Cody Wong at setter. Actually, he's going to come in to serve. This will be a serving substitution. And he's going to replace Jao Garan. And Garan's been very quiet. We really haven't said his name at all in the second or third set.
Not a whole lot offensively. He's having a hard time connecting with Chilton for the Stingers, but that serving substitution not resulting in a point, so they'll reverse that and bring Jerome back in, and Chandler Ball will then come back onto the court, the libero.
I got to say right now, if it wasn't for Chandler Ball, this could be a potential sweep for Colorado. And I know that they were badly outplayed in that first set, but Ball's been really the one keeping Utah competitive today. Gonna try to run the middle to Dennis, but the Kraken were waiting for it. Ball again, Storm laying out, and it comes over. Fourth opportunity here for Colorado. They're just gonna dump it and reset. Ball goes to Mencia, and he is able to tool the block.
Wow, it's taken a lot for the Stingers just to score a point right now. Clearly, all the momentum in the gym is on the Kraken side. It takes 3-4 attacks sometimes for the Stingers just to score the point, so they really have to find themselves here and see if they can equalize this set and try to steal it away from the Kraken, who's clearly in the driver's seat.
Great pass by Rosa. Trenton Lance dropping bombs.
Wow, what a swing right there from number 7 in red, Trenton Lance, just hammering that ball to the floor against one blocker. Sean Dennis getting hung up on the middle. Lance versus Chilton. Lance is going to win that one probably 99% of the time, Ira.
He is a player to watch here in the NVA. If you're looking at some newcomers that you might want to focus on through this year, Lance certainly starting to emerge as a player. Getting cross up there was Matias. Couldn't capitalize where the Kraken. Smoking that one was Romero, but the Kraken were able to preserve the play. Storm with the pass. They go back to Mencia, and he's able to get the high hands for the kill.
Kraken just won't go away. Hanging around, getting to digs. JJ Rosa getting digs with no blockers in front of him. And extending rallies. Sometimes Stingers able to score the point, but Kraken doing some good work here.
Still a 3-point lead. It's 18-15 Kraken. JJ Rosa makes it look easy. And buried in the middle by Schwetz.
I mean, right now the Kraken can do no wrong. Passing the ball perfectly, good offense being run out through the middle, cannot be stopped. It's got to be demoralizing for the Stingers. They can do nothing to stop or slow down the Kraken right now.
Demoralized would be the appropriate word, because if they lose this match, a debut NVA match, an established program losing to a brand new expansion team, certainly, I know it's a very long season, but it would not be a good first impression at all for a Utah squad that you would have to hope, or think has high hopes for being in that championship contention this year.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, they're always, up there at the top of the league, in the top 4 usually, and so, yeah, it would be a bit of an eye-opener.
In my mind, I think either Las Vegas or maybe the Tyrants this year. Texas Tyrants are probably the two teams you got to keep an eye on as preseason favorites to win the NBA title. But again, we have 5 regular season match or weekends. Teams will play 10 matches throughout the regular season, and then 8 teams out of the 12 will advance to that final championship weekend in August. As one more time, and a new face gets involved. It's Ignacio Matias unloading. It's 21-16. The Kraken are now running away here late in the third set.
Just credit to JJ Rosa once again, getting down low and on the ground to collect that ball that was tipped over the block and then executing a transition. Kraken just can do no wrong right now.
Off the tape, somehow kept alive, but Storm couldn't do anything with it, and the Kraken continue to chug along, and Utah, they got to call a timeout. They got to see if they anything they can do to slow down this locomotive.
It's quite the riddle right now for the Stingers. They've got to figure out something. They're hitting their jump serves well, but they're going after the libero. I think that's a bad strategy by them. They have to test the outside hitters. Meanwhile, they've got to figure out how to slow down the Kraken offense as well behind Trent and Lance. Really, the Kraken, I feel like I'm on repeat, but they can do no wrong. They're just hitting the ball at a high percentage. They're making their serves. They're causing all kinds of offensive problems for the Stingers to try to slow down. And they're just responding in a way that no one was really expecting, but maybe just playing for themselves and the name on their jersey.
This third set has been nothing short of a boondoggle for the Utah Stingers. It's almost as if it's been a wasted set. They've not come out and played their game. They've allowed Colorado to control the tempo. And the Kraken are well on their way here to having a 2-1 lead in this match if they're able to close this game out as they hand the ball to Miranda, but he left it short. So a much needed side out. We'll see Reed Chilton. And there's the response from Haskell. 23-17, still a 6-point lead. You cannot be trading points at this margin of the match if you are the Stingers. And if anything, they got to try to put together some momentum here late in game 3, or we're going to see a very difficult fourth set. And off the hands, Storm able to tool the block.
Really the lone bright spot so far in set number 3 for the Stingers has been Storm. However, they're just struggling to find their offense. It was firing on all cylinders in set number 1, but it has eluded them since then.
One of our fans on YouTube, Ari Lifey, said, play your game, Stingers, and can't say it any better. Utah is allowing Colorado to control the tempo, and there's Romero delivering on the outside. Storm will continue to serve. Now, he's got the ability to have 2, 3, 4 points in a row on a service run. If there's anybody you want back there to try to reignite your offense, it's him. Trenton Lance, back corner, able to find the spot.
Trenton Lance using all the real estate on the court for that, going up one-on-one against Jorge Mencia, finding that last foot of the court for that point.
24-19, this is 5 set points for the Kraken. And here's number 22, Ricardo Alejandro, into the match to serve. Romero, and he's able to drop it in. Alejandro couldn't handle it. So side out Utah, set point number 2. And here's Joel Garan. So set point number 2. Garan taking his time. From the Trenton Lance, unloading on the bit to end game number 3. Colorado is cracking a-lacking along. They lead 2-1, and the Utah Stingers need to come back like they started this match, or we're going to have a shocking upset here on opening day 2022. We will take a break and see if the Stingers can be, well, remotivated. Game 4 coming up here out in San Bernardino. Back here courtside, Ira Thor, Matt Prosser here at the Pure Sports Center in San Bernardino, where you can start using the hashtag upset alert if you're tweeting about this match. We hope you are, because the Kraken, well, they have been the surprise darling of the ball here on opening day. Yesterday was opening day in the MLB season. I was out in Anaheim at the Angels game.
Just a small lineup change.
Utah Stingers, well, they're a team that's come in, Matt. You would expect them to sweep this match, and it's been anything but. Oh, hey, look out on the court, friends. Look who has joined the party. It is Russell Holmes, the former Olympian, the owner of the Utah Stingers, is out there in the middle. We'll see if he's able to ignite this Stinger squad, as Utah certainly does not want to find themselves, as that one is long, finding themselves in the upset column. So Holmes, well, can't talk enough about Russell Holmes and what he's done for the sport of volleyball, and of course him owning this team gave it immediate credibility. But he can still play this game, Matt. You're a former middle. Talk about Russ.
Yeah, I mean, just his presence on the court alone should be a bit of a boost for the Stingers, right? And then also for the Kraken, seeing Russell Holmes on the other side of the net could be a little bit of a concern, So very interesting to see what his influence is here in set number 4. Obviously, the Stingers, they have to win this set to force a 5th set. But right now, a bit behind the 8 ball, so very interested to see what Russ can do and how he can influence this match.
Everybody who's ever played the sport or been a fan of the sport is certainly appreciative and admires Russell Holmes, and see if he can get involved here in game number 4. Storm swinging away, and he's able to get the side out for Utah. Again, they are just trying to send us to 5 and avoid what would be probably described as a catastrophic loss.
Well, it definitely would not start the season off on the right foot for them. To come out and win set 1 in such a convincing fashion, and then to potentially not be able to pull out a victory.
Saw Holmes setting away there for a second. That is too long on the attack by Haskell. So Utah, the Holmes effect working so far as they lead 3-1, and Storm will serve. Again, tomorrow, this Stinger squad will be off. The Kraken will take on the Tornadoes tomorrow.
And all of a sudden, the Kraken offense has gone cold. So off to a slow start here in set number 4.
That will come over on one. Normally that's a free ball that hits the ground, but Utah, as they are able to make what looked like a death point, some macabre, into something. And Storm will continue to serve, and this is the run that Utah had to have. Look at that hybrid float from Storm. And finally, Jenkinson is able to end the rally from the Stingers.
Jenkinson throwing in the left-handed attack from the left side of the court. Very tricky to block, but Stingers were almost there for it. Good side out there for the Kraken.
Pass a little bit off by Paul. Romero sticks it through the triple block.
Well, volleyball is such a game of momentum. Ira, we talk about it all the time. Sets 2 and 3 clearly in the hands of Kraken, the momentum on their side. And right now, Stingers have responded nicely. Here's Russ Holmes serving for them.
Deep shot. That's blocked back, sent over on one. Chance for Utah to run a play. Holmes with the set. He gets the assist as it is put away by Mencia.
Well, Russell Holmes putting up a sweet set that time. He knows when he can do it. His hands are just fine. Stingers firing on all cylinders. A 5-point lead now in set number 4.
Roll shot, Holmes covers it. And the tip collected by the Kraken. Back set by Rose, a little bit off the mark, but making something out of nothing is Trenton Lance. Trenton Lance has certainly been that offensive spark plug the Kraken needed. Is, you look at their numbers, it's really been an evolution, I think is a good word here for the Kraken, as they hit 30% in game number 1. They actually hit 22% as a team in the second set and still were able to pull out that set 25-23. And then a brand new look in the third. That is bombs away down the line by Mencia. But they hit 53% as a team in that third set. Conversely, for Utah, they hit 56% in game number 1 and then dropped to 31% in game number 2. And I got to try to get back to that initial offensive look that we saw. Lance, ball was waiting for it. Mencia tries to drop it, and then he does. That is the 14th kill for Jorge Mencia. Storm is in double figures, as well as also Novo Romero. He's got 12 kills. Only Jenkinson is in double figures for the Kraken at 10. Jenkinson down the line, and you can tell anytime the line judge has to duck and cover that it's not in.
Now the Kraken offense has just gone cold. Ira, reading all those stats, thanks for that rundown. Good job. I don't know how you can commentate and keep stats like that, but doing a great job with it.
I used to be, in my former life, a college sports information director, so there were days where, your staff doesn't show up, and, and of course you have to fire them later on, that that they don't show up and you guys sit there and do stats and broadcast at the same time. So eventually, you just become like the Terminator and become half man and half machine. Unfortunately,
all those people lost their jobs, and here you are.
Well, they were mostly students, quite frankly.
So they were working for free, basically.
I paid them. They got minimum wage. That's whatever the school says you got to pay.
What was minimum wage back in 19...
We're talking about like 2010, so it's not that long ago. It was probably like $8 an hour back then. Before the government involved and started paying people a living wage, as we have a timeout on the court, 11-3. Utah has come out here, and they've been the ones that have taken charge. They needed to, where this was going to be an ugly fourth set, and this is the Stinger squad we're used to, the Kraken.
This one may get away from the Kraken very quickly here if they can't right the ship a little bit, but
the Kraken, though, they do have a fifth set as an insurance policy. What's minimum wage now, like 15 an hour or something like that?
I don't know.
I
Depends
don't know.
on what state you're in, I think.
Well, I'm in New Jersey, you can't afford. It's like California. You can't afford to live in either state.
I think it's north of $15 in California.
I think it's about 15 in Jersey. I should know. I got a son who's a freshman in college. He hasn't reached his full earning potential yet.
My kids are still under the legal age of working, so no child employment just quite yet.
I'm the old one with the kid in college. He's Matt Prosser, and we are live here at the Pierce Sports Center. Utah trying to force a fifth set, and well on their way right now. Trent Land swinging away, and Baugh continues to just play tremendous defense. Rosa, who's been that backbone for the Kraken in this one, got handcuffed. And a side-out Romero will serve his team with a 7-point lead.
So common to see the team that loses set number 3 come out on fire in set number 4, right? Whatever the spark was that needed to be spoken about or presented between those two sets, the Stingers have found it, and now they're running with it here in set number 4.
Big toss from Romero. And he lands the ace. As miscommunication there between Lance and also Matias, who wanted that one. And Utah served well in the first set. They continue to serve well now here in the fourth, and as their 6th ace of the day. Only 3 for the Kraken. They do lead 2-1. If you're tuning in late after Utah won game 1 25-13, the Kraken surprised Utah 25-23. And that one is collected off of the air conditioning duct system. And Sean Dennis says, enough.
What a lucky bounce for the Kraken, as that ball was going to be going to the upper deck here in the Pierce Sports Complex, and then it hits the one lone air conditioning duct that's hanging down from the ceiling and comes right back onto the playing surface to continue. But well played by the Stingers to stay in control and then get a chance to score that point in transition.
These are nice high ceilings here at the Pierce Sports Center, but with the power that these guys generate, the torque, balls are going to go up into the rafters, and teams have to be prepared to follow the trajectory of the ball and try to keep it alive. Can't let anything fall. Here is Trenton Lance. I am from the Great Garden State. Trenton is our capital, and Lance would probably love it there as he puts in an ace. Actually, he would really not like Trenton at all. It's not such a nice place anymore.
I'm only familiar with Parsippany.
What you doing in Parsippany?
Work trips.
It's not really the tourist destination of the Garden State. Must be some serious conferences in Parsippany.
Don't take this the wrong way, Ira, but if I'm going to be a tourist anywhere, it's not going to be New Jersey.
Hey, we have beautiful beaches that you have to
Belmar,
pay to get on.
Played AVP events in Belmar.
So did
Seaside
I.
Heights.
Well, not AVP, but
Oh,
Belmar's
Beach.
beautiful.
Belmar is beautiful, yeah. Seaside Heights, great spots.
First ever open tournament I played in was in Belmar back half my life ago. I wasn't playing AVP. Don't have Matt Prosser's skills. This summer I'll be making my co-ed debut with my 15-year-old daughter.
Oh, well, let's put that on the calendar.
I've told her that if we win, she can have my portion of the prize money.
That will be live streamed on the NVA USA YouTube channel, so keep your eyes open for that one.
As Dennis, he puts his hands over his eyes, but Sean Dennis, if you had made that dig, it would have been on the highlight reel. Tough line drive for the Kraken as they're able to get the side out. They still trail by 7. They're going to make a substitution. Will the Kraken, and out will come Schwetz. Here is Josh Sloan to serve. Clark University product. He's out of Lafayette, Colorado. First time he's on the court in the NVA. Storm. That one got caught in the jet stream.
Storm really went for that one, trying to find a flange on the hand to block, but it didn't get it. Ball goes out of bounds, way far out, nearly out the door.
Look at you pulling some biology. Wow. Matt Prosser apparently took some human anatomy at Long Beach State. And some people thought maybe you just went there to play volleyball. No, you picking up some knowledge along the way.
It's student athlete.
Correct.
Ira. Not athlete student.
There is a hyphen in there. Student hyphen athlete. Fortunately, you can get paid. They didn't have these fancy NIL deals.
Oh, right?
Down the line, there's a response from Mencia, or Matias, I should say, over Mencia, but a lot of work here for the Kraken to do in the fourth set. They've cut it to 6, 16-10.
It's now or never, really. They've got to get a nice little run here to bring it back to within, I'd say, 3 points if they can, manufacture a couple opportunities here, or else this set will get away from them, and they should start thinking about set number 5.
A little bit off the court. That's brought back by Mencia, and then Romero with the deep roll. Reach out and stuff someone. Welcome back, Russell Holmes.
What a move right there from Russ Holmes, the veteran, getting shoulder to shoulder to Mencia and a Noble Romero, but that was all Russ Holmes that time.
6'9" out of Fountain Valley, California. Russ will be 40 years old in July. The true Tom Brady of the NVA. Rosa got eaten up, but was able to get a great dig on the play. Holmes, that was blocked back. His first chance to swing here in this match. Back set. Romero sends it deep, and there's the touch by Miranda. Romero with another dig. Mencia with the tip, and Rosa comes out of nowhere to run it down. Holmes gets the kill.
He ends it. What a rally between these two teams. Why not give it to the old veteran? Almost 40. He still has that wrist away shot that he's used to his advantage throughout his career. It's an 8-point advantage right now for the Utah Stingers.
Holmes was on the international scenes recently as 2016 when he was an alternate on the U.S. national team. He didn't get to play in Rio, but was an alternate in case he had got called upon. But he had a great Olympics in 2012. He'll be remembered for that the rest of his life. Team USA finished 5th that year, but it wasn't for the lack of his effort. 2nd in the Olympics in blocking in 2012. He was in his early 30s, which, quite frankly, is considered old in the Olympic sphere. Storm with the tip. The Kraken going to free ball this one over to keep it alive. Storm again, and he couldn't get the bounce.
The misconnection there on the timing between Storm and Shilton trying to run that back row quick attack. Storm a little too early. Maybe the height of the set a little too high, just not right where it needed to be.
And that's put away for another kill for the Stingers. Storm gets it done again, and it's 19-12.
Russ Holmes with his patented jump float serve.
Nearly drops it in. Holmes gets the touch there, and Romero tools the block.
Russ can do it all still. Nearly an ace, and then picks up a dig. As that one kind of ricocheted through the block. Right into Russ's lap, but make sure that gets into your stat column there.
Well, even as a part-time player, it's safe to say that Russ is the best player on the court. It's almost like, are you a WWE fan? Not
no,
really.
Can't say that I've seen it recently.
Well, that's a shame. We're gonna have to have a chat after this match is over. But it's like Brock Lesnar when he only competes or wrestles part-time, but even when he's out there for just a part of the year, is the main attraction. Reach out and stuff someone. Another Romero. A monster block.
Now, Romero, other than Russ Holmes, is the main attraction in set number 4 right here, Ira. He's really come on strong after being really quiet in sets 2 and 3. Romero is having a very nice set number 4 for the Stingers.
We have a palindrome on the scoreboard for those who like math. 21-12. And there's an errant ball on the court. Where it came from, we'll never know. Holmes will continue to serve. 21-12. Trenton Lance. Holmes got the dig and sent over by Romero. Chance here for the Kraken, and they don't connect. They think there's a touch, and they may challenge. Dylan Haskell was convinced there was a touch, and the green challenge card is put up by Jonathan Dacklison, the head coach for the Kraken, and they will take a look at it.
Well, I like this challenge. You know, use it or lose it. Looks like a fifth set is definitely inevitable, so you have got nothing to lose here with this challenge. You get a free timeout, and you know, maybe you'll get lucky. I didn't see the ball change direction, so I think it's going to be out of bounds and the call will be upheld. But you never know. There might be an overturn here, and you get the point and try to find a little momentum. But really, the Kraken right now have got to find something that they can carry over into set number 5.
Well, anytime a player comes out of an attack and is that vehemently believing that there's a touch, you have to take a look at it. And you know, for the Kraken, they were clicking on all cylinders in that third set. You know, the second set, yeah, they were trying to kind of feel their way. Third set, they dominated that set. Holmes has come in here in game number 4, and just his presence and obviously a few points that he's helped to terminate has been enough to kind of reignite this Utah squad. So if you're the Kraken, really want to use this, you know, whether you win or lose the challenges, ultimately it's not going to matter. Utah's going to win the set.
Important to determine where's the touch. Are you challenging the touch off the block or the touch off of the defender? So for that reason, it's going to be a little tricky as well with this challenge system to navigate. That's what we're trying to figure out now. So the challenge is still ongoing.
There's 5 things that you're able to challenge. You can challenge whether it's in or out, whether there was any kind of a touch. And when I say touch, it could be a block touch. You know, it could be did somebody touch a net. There's a number of things you could challenge there. Of course, you have the 10-foot line violation, and then you have any kind of a fault, whether it's a service fault or any kind of infraction of that such a back row attacker. So 5 total things that you're able to challenge in the replay system. There's actually an in-depth replay sheet at the table that I was reading before. So you can only challenge and that's Nick England has actually just let us know that you cannot challenge a back row touch. That is the only touch as part of this replay system that is not permitted. So it has to have been a block at the net. However, that is, you know, what was believed to have been by the Kraken, and no, there's no evidence of it. And side out to Utah, and Holmes was not frozen. Big serve out of the break. Romero. Nice defense by Rosa. And a back row blitz from Ignacio Matias. This match closing in on 2 hours in length, and is certainly looking like we're going to 5. And it's a 10-point lead for Utah as they are playing like the Stingers we saw in game number 1. Mencia waiting for that one. Romero tooling the block, and Utah with a bag full of set points to work with.
And that's the Romero that we've been used to seeing, going high off the hands and blasting it off the blocker's hands and out of bounds. He's made a living of that play, and now set point, like you said, for the Stingers.
Nearly a double. The free ball and the put away by Utah as Reed Chilton gets in the kill column. The Stingers with a convincing 25-13 win here in game number 4. Same score they won set 1 by, and we will go to a decisive 5th set. When we come back at the Pierce Sports Center, 2 sets apiece between Utah and the Kraken.
Hey, when we come back, can we do a live on-camera hit from the sideline? Okay. We'll obviously go back to Matt and Ira, then they'll toss to me. If you can just give me like a verbal cue, that would be great. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
Back here in San Bernardino, 5th set coming our way in a moment, but first let's hear from the sideline, Noah Chast.
Yeah, well, in that 3rd set, the Stingers knew they needed to do something different. They were getting beat in the pass and serve battle, and a good way to change that is to add 2-time Olympian Russ Holmes into the lineup. Not part of their initial game plan, but something they added because they felt like they were losing the momentum. And then on the Kraken side, the word the coach has been using all day is doable. This match is very doable. We can beat this team. They're not doing anything that's putting us out of our game when we're at our strength, and we saw that in the 2nd and 3rd sets. Now it just depends who can do that when it matters in the 5th set, and hard to do that against an Olympian. Guys, back to you.
Well said, Noah. Thank you for that report. And that's been the biggest difference in this match so far, has been Holmes coming out on the court, and if anything, just his presence alone. And sometimes you can overstate that, but he is just so calm out there. He can set a middle who can set, who can play defense, and kind of be that calming presence after you've had some poor results.
Yeah, absolutely, Ira. I mean, he's so experienced. He's been in so many high-pressured situations on the volleyball court throughout his career. This is going to be a very interesting thing to see here between these two teams, as we don't know really what to expect in a 5-set match here. Short game to 15 points, so key is a good start for both sides.
For Colorado, Justin Hertline, you certainly want to see him get more involved. He's been very quiet in the offensive game the last few sets. For the Stingers, to get a quick start here in game number 5, Matt, I would imagine that they're going to put all the pressure back on the Kraken.
Well, yeah, I mean, they definitely are trying to carry over all the momentum that they had in set number 4 into this 5th set. A little bit of a prolonged break there between those 2 sets, so curious to see how the Stingers will start here. Kraken, on the other hand, they've got to find themselves the brand of volleyball they played in sets 2 and 3. Yeah, they can do it, and it is doable, as Noah said, but they're going to have to play their best and really channel what they were doing in sets 2 and 3 to kind of be able to pull off this upset.
So opening weekend 2022 is our 2nd of 4 matches today here in San Bernardino. I'm Ira Thor. He's Matt Prosser. Of course, Noah Chast along with us. Nick England is not doing this match because he is stretching. He is playing in our third match. You will not want to miss that. So that's 3 p.m. Pacific time. Be back with us. But we got some business to do here in game number 5. And that is not what the Kraken could ever allow in game 5 to start off with. Complete breakdown in communication.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of those things where the setter gets the dig and then there's got to be a clear path on who wants to take the second contact, and the Kraken didn't have that one.
Without a libero out on the court, actually I take that back. There is J.J. Rosa. Probably should have been, I would imagine Rosa's ball if he was out there. I'm trying to remember if he was out there for that point already, but normally that's the libero ball. Somebody has to take charge. That is unforgivable here in the 5th set.
Agreed. Totally agree.
He wasn't out there, the middle was.
And I did get clarification. Rosa was not out there because Rosa would have taken charge. So, Kraken, see if they can get a couple of points here, get a maybe 3-1, 4-1 lead, and give themselves some margin for error. Sean Dennis, however, able to paintbrush it through.
Yeah, I haven't said Sean's name a lot since set number 1, but that time early on, reestablished that connection with the middle, especially when he's 6'11".
Well, he hasn't had a lot of attempts. He's got now 6 kills, but only 10 attempts on the day. So
7 kills after that overpass there, Ira.
Now he is getting involved just when they need another middle to step up. And of course, Holmes now not on the court during this sequence. And Sean Dennis, certainly his size is a problem for everybody in this league to deal with. Well, we were looking for Justin Hertline to get involved, and he absolutely did there, annihilating it.
Something that the Kraken hasn't had since set number 2 is Hertline, and that time, yeah, let the guy get up there and take a swing, see what happens.
Here is Matias to serve. Off the tape, Storm able to stay with it. And dug over by Matias. Sent over on 2, but again, miscommunication. The second time that has happened here in this 5th set, and you're starting to see the inexperience of this group playing together.
Yeah, a little bit. That time, that ball inside the 10-foot line, I think you'd like to see the middle blocker take it. It's a little bit low for the libero to run in and set, but still, they've got to figure that one out.
And an ace by Romero. And the Stingers have worked their way in front 5-2 in a race to 15.
Yeah, big start there by Stingers for sure. Carrying over that momentum from set number 4.
It's the 8th ace of the match for Utah. Free ball opportunity, and Dennis, the menace.
All of a sudden, the passing has completely broken down for Kraken. Perhaps those 2 second ball contacts that fell has sort of cut into the foundation that they had built up here. That has definitely taken away any kind of momentum that they wanted to get here in set 5.
Well, the foundation for the Kraken is some cracks exposed. Something for them to work on throughout this season. Again, regardless of the outcome here today, and obviously love to win an opening day. Big surprise for them to be this competitive this fast. But Utah is just a more experienced team, and Storm able to put it away. For a Stinger squad that's been through the ringer, again, they won the title 2 years ago. They were right in the conversation last season. With majority of their pieces back, when they have their backs against the wall, they have the experience to know how to get out of it.
Yeah, and if they are to continue on this path and win this match, it will be a nice moral victory for them as well, showing that they can bounce back from those 2 sets where they didn't play a very good style of volleyball. And even though they started this match out really well, losing sets 2 and 3, and then in dominant fashion taking care of set number 4, be a good moral victory for them as well if they're able to win this match.
Storm just powers that one down the line for yet another kill. That is the 14th for Storm Fagatafunga. And they will switch sides here as Utah, the first to reach 8. They lead 8-3. The Kraken offensively had a abysmal fourth set, hitting just 17%. 5 kills and 29 swings with 5 errors.
We should start thinking about MVP at this point.
So as they switch sides, Sean Dennis will be given the chance to serve. That is put away by Trenton Lance, trying to keep his team alive. As that is too long on the bid by the Kraken, Justin Hurtline. So trading points, not something you can afford to do right now. If you're the Kraken, they will make a substitution. And they will bring back in Jenkinson. Jenkinson has 14 kills today on attack. Blocked 3 times, however. Trenton Lance cannot get the touch. You saw what he was trying to do there. He was certainly looking for the high hands, but Utah avoiding the touch, and it's 10-4. So serving it away here will be Reed Chilton, who's been just steady throughout this match. And put away in the middle, a kill for the Kraken by Schwetz.
The lone bright spot in set number 5 for the Kraken has been their offense through the middle. And they continue to try to force that issue a little bit to see if they can continue to score some quick points. All predicated upon the pass, though, Ira.
It's only the 2nd kill for Schwetz in the match. Have not been able to use him effectively. He's only had 4 swings as Lance leaves it short. Well, we know you could be anywhere on this Friday afternoon, Friday evening, wherever you're watching this match. And a lot of major sporting events happening around the country. The Masters, of course, most prominently, but it's opening weekend here in the NVA. Match 2 of 4 today, and we're thankful for those of you who are able to join us live. We know people will be watching this match on replay. Our replay audience sometimes is almost as maybe 10 times as much as those who see it live. And we have to keep in mind that people live all over the world, may not be able to see it live. We have fans who are over in Europe and South America, and certainly have been an unexpectedly good match here. As the Kraken trying to find any way to back in this one now in the 5th. They trail 12-6. They will make another substitution, and they will bring it to serve Josh Sloan. Need to collect points now in bunches.
Well, definitely a high-stress moment for the Kraken. They have to produce some points. Bit of an easy serve there.
Lance swinging away, blocked back again. 3rd chance. And that is run down by Romero and sent over by Baugh. Too easy there on the deep roll. One more time, Lance in the back row. And Chilton waiting for it. And that will be put away. The long rally. The Stingers take it. And it's 13-6. And now back in the match, here is Russell Holmes to serve. We talked about Holmes going to be 40 this summer. You know, Reed Chilton, by the way, in February, he turned 37, so you know, he's experienced in his own right. We'll say seasoned.
Seasoned is a good way to put it, yeah.
Storm with the pass, and Dennis delivers. And Utah up 14-7. The end is near. They have 7 match points. And it will be Mencia. Match point, Mencia leaves it short, so it'll be match point number 2. So Ignacio Matias trying to keep his team alive. Dennis, Kraken getting the touch from the back row. And for a moment, the Kraken will keep playing as Matias able to get the result. So this will be match point number 3. It's now 14-9. Off the tape. They go to Mencia, and it comes over on 1. And Storm after a couple of broken touches. Able to keep it alive. And that one is long. So 4 in a row for the Kraken as they keep fighting on. And for Utah, good thing they had this many points to work with. But still, no margin for error. 14-10. They go to Romero, and Romero ends it. 15-10.
Then take player of the match, then just go commercial and be done.
Here in game number 5, Utah had its backs against the wall, falling behind 2-1, but they stormed back, and they are able to hold off the upset bid as they beat the upstart Kraken today in 5 sets. And they win 15-10 here in our final game. You know, a great effort here today for the Kraken in their debut. Didn't really know what to make of this Colorado team, and even defeat came out and were impressive. But for Utah, the story is an experienced group that knows how to fight back when its backs are against the wall.
Well, good effort put forth by both sides, both clubs here. I mean, for the Stingers, they played a great first set and a really strong 4th and 5th set. What they'd like to see is 3 straight, right? For the Kraken, a bit of a moral victory there as well. Going down big in this first set and then coming back to win the next 2, and probably what was an unexpected set victory for that team. However, they need to be able to maintain it when the other team kind of swings back at it. So, well played by both sides.
You know, for Utah, there's a lot of guys that we could point to today as, you know, stars of the match. Romero had certainly a great effort, as did Mencia. But, you know, quite frankly, if I'm looking at somebody who was the most responsible for this win and for them to be able to hang tough, and of course Russell Holmes, his presence on the court certainly kind of changed the direction of the match. But to me, it's the setter Reed Chilton, and he's going to be our man of the match. He certainly came in and, you know, taking over this team, taking over the setting responsibilities, was the guy who was able to just be that steady hand they had to have.
I think Noah is there with Reed Chilton for the man of the match interview. Reed.
Send it over.
Absolutely, I'm here with Reed Chilton. And Reed, you were the one constant as things sort of went up and down, ebbed and flowed throughout the game. How do you keep things so consistent for your team?
I'll just try to have a positive attitude, have fun. You know, I've got a family and a career, so this is just gravy to be able to play and have a good time. So helps take the pressure off. We've got some great players on our team that they take care of all the little things, so I can just go have fun and keep a positive attitude.
How big was the change when Holmes came on the court in that fourth set?
You know, Russell's obviously, he has an influence on the court. He's an Olympian, and he's got a good attitude. His energy just brought, I think it helps us relax a little bit and just get back to playing.
And how good does it feel after a bit of a bumpy ride to get this first win?
It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Congrats.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Noah. Great interview there with our man of the match. And, you know, for Utah, they're going to be able to kind of take this in, maybe a little bit more pressure here on opening day than they anticipated, but a win nonetheless, as the Utah Stingers able to avoid the upset, and they take down the Colorado Kraken in 5 sets. Your final thoughts on this one?
Well, good showing by Kraken. You know, welcome to the league. Stingers a little work to do, but good response. Both teams taking a point away to go to their point total series, you know, for the season. But you know, expect better volleyball from both clubs throughout this season for sure.
That's something to note, of course. We'll talk about throughout the weekend how the point structure works in the NVA. If you lose in 5, it's almost like an overtime tie in hockey. You do get a point, so this will actually help, even with the loss. The Kraken they venture on in their maiden voyage here in the NVA. Match number 3 will be coming up. It is scheduled for 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will be last year's runner-up, the Ramblers, against last year's semifinalist, Southern Exposure. Should be a great match for sure. We hope you'll come back and join us for probably our marquee match here on day number 1 of the NVA season here in San Bernardino, California. For my partner, Matt Prosser, and our reporter, Noah Chast, I'm Ira Thor. Thanks for joining us for this matchup here in NVA Opening Day 2022. We'll talk to you again at 3 p.m.